now. Anyone has any objections to that? Let me know and I'll turn it off. And we'll get started. All right. And away we go. We are working on independent living, section 3. Section 3, the mortgage application process. Again, last Google form of the year for 2021, right? 2 learning targets. I can compute the monthly cost of paying for a house. All right, that's you finding the monthly payment for paying for a house. And I can understand the research that is necessary before I purchase a home. All right, and we have some new vocab terms with a new section. All right, we have market value. Market value is the value that the house can actually sell for. All right, the value of the house that the market will actually bear. Someone will actually pay you. That market value is how much money someone will actually pay you for your house. Property tax. I don't know if you realize this, but whenever you own land, there's property taxes that are assessed on this, or nearly always. And you know, these things go to pay for schools and libraries and police and things like that. Also known as real estate tax. Then there is the assessed value of a home. The assessed value of the home is that for the purposes of taxation, the government tells you what they assess your home at. So they'll tell you how much they think your house is worth, and then you pay a percentage of what they assess your house is worth. So your house, the market value might be $200,000, and then the government, to the state or the county or the town, or the city, they assess it for, say, $220,000, and then you can sometimes argue with them and say, hey, the market value has changed since this was assessed, and it's no longer that assessment, it's too high. You'll be charging me too much real estate tax, too much property tax based on your assessment. You can fight the assessed value, but the assessed value is what they use to actually what you pay your taxes on. The down payment. The down payment is the money you put down initially. So if you're buying a house, usually you need to have a few $1,000s saved in order to purchase a house. Some of that money goes towards the down payment. Some might go towards lawyers' fees and surveying fees and these kinds of things. You need to have a surveyor come and just kind of mark the property borders to make sure that what they say is the property you're buying is the property you're buying. You need a lawyer to make sure that the transfer of the title is going all right.
You're too young. It's not your turn.
I'm gonna
They're not
mute
ready.
Mr. K right now. There we go. Yeah, so down payment. You need a little bit of money saved up in order to like secure this loan, right? The bank doesn't want to like just give you a loan without you putting up a down payment, because then you could just walk away and now they're just like out money. Now they have to like take the home and sell the home and see if they can get their money back. They would like you to put down a few $1,000s down, so that if you walk away from the house and they are stuck with it, that at least they get to keep your few $1,000s as trouble for as payment for all their trouble of having to try to get that money back. Mortgage. When you buy a house, the loan is often called a mortgage because it's such a long loan. These loans are longer than most any other loan you might take out in your life. Car loans, a long car loan is like 6 years, right? A long mortgage might be 30 years, sometimes 35 years. Oftentimes between 15 and 30 years is a mortgage. You know, a car loan is sometimes as little as 2 years or 1 year, you know, to give you some comparisons. There are there's a couple of kinds of mortgage, but the two basic kinds we're gonna look at is there's a fixed rate mortgage and there's an adjustable rate mortgage. Fixed rate means it's the same interest rate the entire life of the mortgage. An adjustable rate mortgage means that the interest rate can change, which means your monthly payment can change. And then it could go up or it could go down. Most likely it'll go up. All right, foreclose. Foreclose means the bank takes the house from you. That's when you stop paying your monthly payments, the loan. They foreclose on the loan and they take possession of the house. Homeowners insurance is insurance you can purchase in case your house, say, was to unfortunately burn down, right? If you borrow all this money, you put yourself liable to repay all this money, and then if the house burns down, you know that you still have to pay that loan back. Well, homeowners insurance will help you, recover from the loss of the house burning down, and those kinds of things. Escrow is money that you put away in trust, usually with a lawyer or a bank. We'll get into the front end ratio and back end ratio at a different time. And yes, I'll handle all this other stuff when we get to it later. Today, all we really need to know is this much right there. All right. I'll talk about some of the other things too. So that's the preview of the vocab. Preview of the vocab. Put your name on where it says your name. All right. Put your name where it says your name and put those learning targets in there. As always, you can come up here and you can just copy them. Right click copy, right click paste. And that way it's I know you've looked at these learning targets. We're mostly dealing with the first one today. We're computing the monthly payment on a mortgage today. That's our plan. There's more to the monthly cost of paying for a house. There are utilities, there are taxes, there are all sorts of other things. But right now we're talking about the monthly payment today. All right, let me give you like 30 more seconds to get your name and learning targets in there. And of course, the new section, there is a wall of text to familiarize ourselves with, because not everyone knows this stuff, right? Not everyone knows about what a mortgage is and about property taxes and things. So we need to just have a quick little review and some background. So we all are at the same background knowledge place that we can go forward. All right. What do you need to know about mortgages? Well, buying a house is probably the most expensive investment you will ever make in your life. Market value is the amount for which a house could be sold. So the market value is what it could be sold for. Homeowners, however, pay property taxes, which is also called real estate taxes. So property taxes and real estate taxes are kind of the same thing. You pay those taxes based on the assessed value of the home. The assessed value of a home is the amount used to determine the property taxes. As I said before, the assessed value may not be the same as the market value. Often the assessed value is a little bit higher because the state and the county and the town and the city, they want to get a little extra money from you on the property taxes. Property taxes help pay for government services such as schools, libraries, and police. After making the required down payment, most people take out a loan to pay the balance owed on their new home. These loans are called mortgages. Because interest rates differ, shopping for a mortgage can be important. You want to get the lowest interest rate you can find. You should become familiar with the following mortgage vocabulary. There's a fixed rate mortgage. A fixed rate mortgage is a mortgage in which all the monthly payment and annual percentage rates remain the same throughout the entire loan period. The interest rate is fixed. In the adjustable rate mortgage, it's a mortgage in which the monthly payment and the annual percentage rate, the APR, may change as specified in the signed agreement. Foreclosure. When the bank forecloses or takes possession of the home and sells it, if the homeowner cannot pay the mortgage. If the homeowner who took out the loan does not repay the bank over a certain amount of time, the bank eventually will foreclose on that loan, and then they will, evict the homeowner, and they will take possession of the house, and they will attempt to sell it and get their money back. If they sell it for how much you owe on it, then you don't have to worry about it. You're done. If, however, they sell it and say there's still $20,000 that you owe, you still got, even though they foreclosed on you, you still owe them the 20 grand that they didn't get back yet. So just be aware how that works. Homeowners insurance. It's insurance that covers damage to the home due to fire and other natural disasters, flood, tornado, earthquake, those kind of things. Homeowners insurance also covers the contents of the home in case of theft or vandalism. Someone breaks into your home, takes your TV or your laptop or your phone. If you have homeowners insurance, that can cover those losses. Most mortgage loans are repaid over 15 to 30 years, which means the home buyer is taking on a long-term financial responsibility. Again, a 30-year mortgage is a long time. That's like a third of your life we spent paying that mortgage. All right, example one. We have Heather. Heather is planning to buy a home. Heather has some money for a down payment already. She sees a home she would like and computes that she would need to borrow $190,000 from a bank over a 30-year period. The APR, annual percentage rate, is 6.4%. What will be her total interest for the 30 years? What will be her total interest for the 30 years? That's the question we would like to solve. All right, to do that, we will need our friend that we saw before. We used it when we calculated the monthly payment on auto payments. And yes, you can use the same formula to calculate mortgages. It's the monthly payment formula that we all so know and love, right? We've got M, where M is the monthly payment. That's how much you will pay. That's what we'd like to find out. That's what this formula will calculate for us. It's going to equal a numerator divided by a denominator, where the numerator is the P, the principal, times the rate expressed as a decimal divided by 12, times 1 plus the rate, the interest rate expressed as a decimal divided by 12, raised to the power of 12 times T, which is the number of years, right? 12 times the number of years, which gives you how many months of the loan, divided by, there's our divisor line, the expression 1 plus interest rate expressed as a decimal divided by 12, raised to the power of 12 times the number of years, again, minus 1. Wow. Okay, right? Here's how this goes. Here's the monthly payment formula for Heather and her situation. Her monthly payment is going to equal $190,000. That's the P, the principal, right? She's borrowing $190,000. She's going to multiply that by the interest rate, which is 6.4%. That's 6.4% expressed as decimal, divided by 12, times the expression 1 plus the interest rate expressed as decimal divided by 12, raised to the power of 12 times 30. It's a 30-year mortgage, so it's 12 times 30, divided by 1 plus the expression 1 plus the interest rate expressed as decimal divided by 12, times 12, raised to the power of 12 to the 30th power minus 1. So let me show you how to do this using your calculators to show you it can be done. All right, I'm going to clear all this. Here I go. I'm going to start with Mr. K's method. I'm going to use the alpha y equals. Green alpha y equals gives me this little menu here, which I can create a numerator and denominator. All right, that's what I'm going to start with. 190,000. All right, 190,000 times, I'm going to use parentheses, 0.064 divided by 12. Close in the parentheses. New parentheses, 1 plus. I'm just following the equation here. 0.064 divided by 12. Closing that parentheses off. Using the caret button to raise it to the power of 12 times 30. 12 times 30. All right, got the numerator done. Dropping down to the denominator with a down arrow. Parentheses, 1 plus 0.064 divided by 12. Woo. Parentheses, closing off parentheses. Raise to the power of 12 times 30. 12 times 30, which is really 360. All right, using this is important, dropping this right arrow down to get that cursor to come out of the exponent area, coming back down to do minus 1. Minus 1. If I did my job, this should be $1,188.46. Let's see if I did my job. There it goes. It's great when it works. Fifth period, I goofed it up. I put 19,000 instead of 190,000. It's easy to goof it up. If I was to do all of this in one line, here's how I'd have to do it. I'd have to use a parentheses for everything in the numerator. So I need 190,000 times parentheses 0.0. So notice I had to cap this numerator off with a parentheses right in the beginning. 0.064 divided by 12. Close parentheses, open parentheses, 1. I need a 1 plus 0.064, right? Divided by 12. I'm doing this fast so I can get it done with. Okay, raise the power of. I'm just going to shorten it up to be 360 because 12 times 30 is 360. Drop that parentheses back, drop it back, cursor back down. I'm closing off that parentheses, and notice that parentheses got bigger. And if I go back to my front, that parentheses there will also be bigger. That's because it's enclosing the exponent as well. All right, so that's my numerator. My numerator is all packed up, divided by, I want to divide by a denominator. Denominator is going to be, and I'm going to need to use a second parentheses to include this parentheses here, 1 plus 0.064. 0.064 divided by 12. Oof, this is a lot. I acknowledge this is a bit. 360, raise to the power of 360. Bringing that cursor back down, -1. Closing the parentheses. I just wanted to show you that it can be done. It can be done. Look at that. If you do it right, it'll work out. Okay, for those of you who are like, wow, that looks like a lot, Mr. Sold. Remember, there was a couple of easier ways. I'll show you one of the easy ways. That's using your calculator. You're going to click on the apps button on your calculator. This is going to be a lot easier. So we want to pay attention here. Apps, right? On this TI-84 Plus Silver Edition, I only have one application. That's finance. That's fine. That's the only one I need. Enter. I want to go into this TVM solver. TVM solver. All right. N is the number of monthly payments. You can put 12 times 30 right in here. And of course, the calculator knows that's 360, so it'll just convert it 360 right off. You put the interest rate expressed as a percentage right in there. Well, it's 6.4%. PV means present value. That's how much you're borrowing. Present value, 190,000. All right, and make sure your P divided by Y, that's payments per year, is 12. You're making 12 payments per year, once a month. And C divided by Y is compounded yearly, right? Make sure that's 12. Once all that's set up, recall you can go to PMT, that's your payment. And if you press alpha, the green alpha button, and then press enter, which says solve in green, we're going to have this PVM calculator solve for the monthly payment. Of course, it'll give us negative $1,188.46, right? That's our monthly payment. And the reason why it's a negative is because this is money you have to pay. So in accounting terms, this is money you're losing. So it's a minus. It's money that gets taken away from you and goes to someone else. That's why it's a negative number. So that's probably the easiest way to find a monthly payment formula or to calculate the monthly payment. Whoosh. Okay. So now we've done it. We've done it 3 different ways. We found the monthly payment. That's the hard part. Now we're going to take that monthly payment, $1,188. Let me get out of here. Let me clear that. $1,188.46. That's the monthly payment. Remember, we want to find what's the interest for 30 years. We want to find the total interest. Well, we know what the monthly payment is now. We know how many payments are going to be made. There's going to be 360 payments made. So we're going to multiply this by 360. This will give us the total amount that Heather will pay for this house over the course of 30 years. Heather's going to pay $427,845.60 over 30 years, almost $500,000 for this here house. Okay, well, you say to yourself, well, wait a minute. The house only costs $190,000. So why is she paying $427,000, almost $428,000? It's because the interest. It's the interest. The bank is getting their interest. All right. If you ever doubt the power of banks, this is the power of banks and financial institutions. They make us so much money because they get, almost $250,000 out of Heather over the course of 30 years. Here's how that works. She's going to pay, we know she's going to pay $427,845.60. We know the house the bank only paid $190,000, right? Which means that the interest that Heather pays is how much she pays in total minus the value of the house. Everything else is interest. So we find out there's the total value of all the monthly payments right there. Subtracting the market value of the house, what it sold for, that gives us $237,845.60. Heather will pay that much money in interest, $237,845.60. This is almost $250,000, and it's just interest. This is not to buy the home. This is for the privilege of borrowing the bank's money. Buying a home is an expensive proposition. Indeed, it is. All right. All right. I'm going to take a deep breath. That's example 1. We got it over with. I'm going to have you try something similar with a house here in Rochester. So I went online to real estate, and I just was looking for a house that was kind of reasonably priced, what I would call reasonably priced, something that you probably need to make. Let's see how much you'd have to make. Actually, I don't want to quick see how much you have to make for this particular situation. I'll leave you to calculate that later. All right, here's the situation. Jadalise. Jadalise is planning to buy a home. Sound familiar? It's just like the example. She had some money for a down payment already. Jadalise sees a home she would like at 274 Winchester Street, and she computes that she would need to borrow $110,000 from a bank over a 30-year period. The APR is 5.9%. If the house price is $119,000, then why might Jadalise only need a mortgage loan of $110,000? If the cost of the house is going to be $119,000, let's say she negotiated them down $900. If the price of the home is selling for $119,000, why does she only need a loan for $110,000? I'm looking at the chat. Yes, Keyshawn, say you asked, did we use this equation before? Yes, we did. We used this exact multi-payment equation before, back when we looked at the multi-payments for a car. So yes, we did use this exact same equation before. I'm looking at the chat right now. I'm trying to see if you can answer the question. If the house is $119,000, then why is she taking out a loan for less than the value of the house? How does that make sense? What part of the word problem explains? What part of the word problem explains why is the mortgage loan $110,000? I'm hoping to see some responses. Aha, interest maybe. Someone says interest. It's actually not going to be interest here. I'm glad you said that. That's interest is an important part of this. That's not why she's getting a loan for less than the house price, though. It's in the word problem. Good brainstorming, though. Anybody else got any ideas? Or aha, there we are. It's the down payment, right? It's the down payment. So she must have like something like 9,000 or 10,000 or 12,000 already saved up that she's putting towards this house. That money, she doesn't have to borrow the money that she's already going to pay this house off with, right? If she's got 10 grand or 9 grand that she's going to use to like pay off as the down payment of this house, she doesn't need to borrow that money. So she only needs to borrow $110,000 because she already has some money saved up for a down payment. So the mortgage is only, okay, I forgot the R. Okay, the mortgage is only 110,000 because she is paying some of the house price with her down payment. So basically I need to see, down payment or savings somewhere in the answer here. That's the trick of it. The loan is only 110,000 because she's paying off some of the house early on with that initial down payment. That's that money you put down in the beginning in order to kind of like secure the loan, so that if you were to walk away from this loan, the bank at least gets to keep your down payment, and then they'll try to sell the house for whatever else it's worth and see if they can get their money back. This provides the bank some security. All right. So this next one is where I'm going to have you. It's the same situation. Jadalise, she's buying a home in Rochester, New York. This house is actually for sale right now. At least it was a couple days ago. All right. If you're looking for a house, I don't know. Look for pictures. So this time we're going to set up an equation using the monthly payment formula with the monthly payment, principal, interest rate, and number of years represented in the situation. So you're going to go use this formula right here to solve this problem here. Let me help you get set up with it. M is going to be your monthly payment. It's going to equal a parentheses for my numerator, the principal. So you're going to need something in here, times an expression, something in there, times an expression, something in there. All right, and then it's going to be divided by a parentheses for the denominator, an expression, and then you're gonna have a number. You're gonna close that off. All right, so that's your basic setup. You're gonna need to add the principal and all the other pieces of the monthly payment formula. Let me set 2 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna put 2 minutes on the clock. Go ahead and give this a try.